Welcome to SAR Histories, where on the channel today we shall be visiting the ruins of Croxden Abbey. Croxden Abbey is also known as the Abbey of the Vale of St Mary at Croxden. It was a Cistercian abbey founded by Bertram III de Vernon in the 12th century. The monks that lived in the abbey followed a strict, literal observance of the rule of St Benedict, written in the 6th century, and endeavoured to be self-sufficient communities. Croxden Abbey flourished in the 13th century, and it may have supported as many as 70 monks. During the 14th century, the community suffered from the effects of crop failure, cattle disease and plague. Despite the abbey's worsening finances, it continued, struggling from the strains of royal taxation. As the abbey had an income of less than £200 per year, the abbey should have been suppressed under the Suppression of Religious Houses Act of 1535, but the monks paid a £100 fine for a royal licence to continue. It was in 1537 when the abbey surrendered the land and its property sold off. Henry VIII granted the monks pensions, with the last abbot receiving an annual sum of £26, 13 shillings and 4 pence per year. The abbey then became part of a farm. The cloister became a yard and a track was cut across the church, bisecting the site. The ruins were taken into state guardianship in 1936 and is today managed by English Heritage. I've been coming to Croxden Abbey since I was a young boy, fondly remembering going with my grandparents and once my uncle. Each time I visit, I am wowed as if it were my first time. There is so much here to explore, and it is easy to spend a good hour or more examining the ruins, getting lost in the thought of the monks who once dwelt here. Many of the remains have survived very well and almost complete above ground. Some, however, are like footprints of time, so you get a sense of how the room would have looked. The stone drains of the latrines remain intact, with the tunnels which ran underneath the complex still visible today. This brings back a very human element to the abbey. There is a legend that King John favoured the abbey and that his heart is buried within the grounds, but to this day it remains just that, a legend. The Uttoxeter casket is a carved Anglo-Saxon masterpiece which likely came from the abbey and dates from around 1050. It probably held a religious object and was displayed on an altar within the church. The casket is currently housed in the Cleveland Museum of Art in Ohio. If you have never been to Croxden Abbey, I highly recommend that you do, and best of all, it's free. English Heritage could easily charge for entrance. The downside is the parking. There is no car parking for this site and the road is narrow with room enough for about 4 cars to pull over. The west end stands some 60 feet and would have been an impressive sight in early medieval times. Despite all the past tribulations, the ruins of the abbey peacefully defy the passing of centuries. Those that have visited before our time have left their mark in the stone. For me, there is still a sense of peace, and if you were to stand and close your eyes, you could almost hear the chanting of monks echoing around the ruins. There are remains of several stone coffins, believed to be the resting place of the Verdun family and abbey benefactors. Some of these coffins are remarkably small and feel somewhat surreal to look at, for they were the people that knew the abbey, walked its grounds in times of old. For anybody that likes historical places, Croxden Abbey is an absolute must. Upon the entrance gate, you can scan a QR code to donate £5. If you visit and are able to, please donate to help preserve this magnificent site for the future generations. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe and I will see you again next time. Goodbye.